If you're unhappy in your career, I can almost guarantee that is because your work is out of alignment with your values. And when you are working out of alignment with your values, you're going to be unhappy. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you how to align your career with your values. If that sounds like something that you need in your career right now, then keep watching and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you find this valuable. Hi, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Dr. 𝙁𝙤 𝙤𝙤. I'm a career counselor and coach who helps women clarify who they are so they can find a fulfilling career and secure a job they enjoy while increasing their salaries. I'm glad you're here. Let's get into today's video. Okay, so values. Your values are so important if career fulfillment is a priority for you. Your values are essentially your internal compass. They are those core beliefs that drive you and drive your decision making. Your values are the things that are important to you in life. And when you are working or living out of alignment with your values, you are always going to be unhappy, point blank, period. Like, that's just a fact. And one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of times when people are making career decisions, they often don't think about their values and how they need to align their work and their values so that they can truly enjoy the work that they're doing. When you align your career with your values, you will find that you are thriving at work. The work you're doing feels good. You are experiencing better work-life balance because you have prioritized the things that are important to you in life in your work. So they're no longer competing for your energy and your attention unless, maybe you work in an industry that has occasional busy seasons and then things might be out of whack at that point. That's fine. But for the most part, you experience better work-life balance because there's synergy between your work and your life. So let's talk about how exactly you can align your career with your values so you can experience more career fulfillment. The first thing, and this one might be obvious, but it's clarify what is important to you. Your values, that's essentially what your values are. Pause and actually get clear on what truly matters to you when you think about the kind of person you want to be, the kind of life you want to live, the kind of legacy you want to create, the impact you want to make. What matters to you? And the reason why this can sound obvious, but I'm still pointing it out, is because a lot of people are not actually honest with themselves about what truly matters to them. I have seen this happen with multiple clients on different occasions where when we are working and they do the career clarity work that I do with my clients, they come back and they're like, oh my gosh, I had never thought about this before. I had been making career decisions really based on what other people expected of me or what society expected of me, not what I expect of myself. I remember I was recently working with a client who secured a new role, increased her salary by 13K. But when she came in, she had initially, I think, wanted to increase her salary by 20K. That was her goal. And so when she got this offer, I asked her, okay, this salary is 13K. How do you feel about that? Does that still align with your goals? And just to cut that long story short, in the reflection, in the values work, she came to realize that the reason why she had said the initial number was, one, because of what she thought her family would think about her based on how much she earns, and two, because of how she thought she would look in society based on how much she earns. Meanwhile, and I pointed this out to her, ain't nobody gotta know how much you make if you don't tell them. Like, you don't have to share that information. But she had created a story in her mind about who she was in the world based on a specific amount. It wasn't an amount that she actually needed to be successful. It's what she thought would be sort of like this achievement. And that's just one example. I remember another client who had, because the way we work in my program, Find a Fulfilling Career, you do some clarity work, you watch some of the curriculum and do an assessment to figure out your values. And then when we come to coaching, we assess those together and figure out if it's actually right. And I remember one client came into coaching, and as we were talking through her values, she realized that at least 3 of the values on her list weren't her actual values. She said she had picked those, and one of them I remember so clearly was family. And she picked it because she thought that because she was a mother, she was supposed to prioritize family. And it's like, I'm not saying that as a mom, don't prioritize family, but if that's not the most important thing to you as you think about your life and your career, then don't put it on there just because you think it's what you're meant to do. So when I say clarify what's important to you, I really mean that. What is important to you? Not what do you think people think should be important? How will you look to society? What does your family said should be important? What does your partner say should be important? Not any of those, because they are not the ones that are going to be in your career. What matters to you specifically? So when you think about values, think about things like diversity, financial independence, autonomy, high earnings anticipated, job tranquility, safety and security. These are some values that often tend to come up for my clients. So the first step is clarifying what matters to you. And then once you have clarified that and you are actually looking to pick a role, it's important that you are looking in industries that actually align with your values. So if one of your values was job tranquility, then going into like tech or emergency response might not make sense, because those are high-paced, high-energy roles that may not align with that chill, laid-back vibe you're looking for in your career. So you first have to make sure the industries that you are trying to go into make sense. The way they work, what they prioritize aligns with what you're prioritizing. And then when you are actually applying to organizations, research the company's values. I'm not talking about the values that they wrote on their About Us page, because a lot of companies don't often live out the values on their website. Okay. So just assume that those are all lies. For the most part, most companies don't live up to that. But figure out what are the values that they're actually living out. When you research companies, you can do things like search for their name in Google and click the news tab to see if they've been in the news recently and what they have been in the news for. You can go in LinkedIn and search for people whose past employer was the company that you're looking for. I have found that people tend to be more honest when they were previous employees and maybe not when they're still employed in that organization, but you can certainly talk to current employees too. I would just start with previous employees and ask them about their experiences in that organization. You can also see if the organization has an online presence on social media, on LinkedIn, and what are the things they're posting? What are the platforms they're posting on? What are they talking about? What are they sharing? And how are they showing up? So do a deep dive into the organization and try to figure out what I'm seeing about them online. Does that align with the kind of organization that I want to work with? And then third, when you are at the stage of interviewing with a company, make sure you are asking questions that help you gauge the value of the organization. Too often, when people get to the interview stage, I find that they're asking questions that make them seem like they did their research on the company. So they're saying things like, I saw on your website that your values are this. Tell me more about that. That's not helpful. Okay. Yes, they can answer the question, but that's how people end up getting catfished, because they probably have a spiel that they will give you that's not the actual accurate answer that you're looking for. Instead, ask questions that will give you the answers that you need to make an informed decision. Ask questions that will help you understand how they live out the values you already identified in step 1. So for example, let's say one of your non-negotiable values is autonomy. A question you might ask in the interview phase is something like, can you describe the decision-making process for the person who is going to be in this role? How much independence is expected? And when will I need to consult with other people before I make decisions? Their response will help you understand the level of autonomy that you will have in this role. So when you have clarity about step 1, I will say for every value you put in step 1, your non-negotiable values. And when I work with my clients in finding a fulfilling career, that's one of the first things we do. We clarify your non-negotiables, but we limit it to 5 non-negotiable values. So once you clarify yours, I would say for every value that's on that list, create a question that you can ask in the interview about that value. Once you've done all that, you have interviewed, you got the answers. The last step is reflect on all the information that you have gotten to this point. Think about the answers they gave you, the research you did, and what you thought was important to you, and try to paint a picture of future you working and living in this organization. So obviously you won't live in the organization, but when you work in the organization and you're living your life, how does the organization fit into that? And be honest with yourself. Does that picture look like what you want to do in your career? Are you fulfilled in that picture? Are you happy in that picture? Think about the answers you got and what you said was important to you, and be honest in determining if your career path that you've chosen is going to be a true fit for your values or not. If it's not a fit, it's time to pick something else. When you go through these steps, you will find, and I always tell my clients, there's a 90% guarantee that you will be fulfilled in your chosen career path. And the only reason I'm saying 90 is because there are other things that you need to clarify to make that decision. For example, in my program, Find a Fulfilling Career, the 3 things we clarify are your values, your interests, and your skills. And even then, once we clarify all 3 of those, I'll say you're about 95%, because until you're actually working in the company, you won't have that 100% guarantee. There's still a margin of error. So there you have it, how to align your career with your values. Let me know, have you ever clarified your values before? And if you haven't, are you going to go through these 4 steps that I shared with you today? If you are, drop a comment below and let me know what was most helpful for you. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below. And if you would like expert guidance and community support in clarifying not just your values, but also your interest and your skills so you can find a fulfilling career path that allows you to thrive in your zone of genius and live on purpose, then I invite you to check out my program, Find Your Fulfilling Career. In FYFC, the entire goal of the program is to help you get clarity about who you are so you can clarify your fulfilling career path and secure a job you enjoy while increasing your salary by at least 5 figures. You can go to findyourfulfillingcareer.com. That link will be in the description below to learn more about FYFC and join us. Thanks again for watching today's video, and I'll catch you on the next video.